morning. Hello, I'm Claire-Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. Welcome to Psychic Cafe. Friday, woo, it's the weekend. Have you got plans for the weekend? I don't really. I'm kind of looking forward to it. But no plans of yet for myself. How about you? But it's always nice, isn't it, for it to be the weekend. Let's shut that up. Okay, so mini reads. If you want to get a mini reading with me, if you've got a one question that you want to ask your higher self, it can be about career, it can be about love, it can be about someone else, it can be about a decision that you've got to make, or it can just be general guidance if you want. Then you can book in for one of those one question readings with me while I'm live here. You can find a link for that in the live chat. I've posted one there. And so get those booked in. Otherwise, I'll be pulling cards out for twin flames, or in other words, those of us that want to get into a really healthy relationship, perhaps that haven't experienced those before, and guidance in what's going on for both the masculine and both the feminine to get us there. I've got my coffee. What are you drinking this morning? Or whatever time it is for you while I'm doing this show. Early morning for me, 8 a.m. Okay, so let's get some cards out. Just been recording stuff this morning already and editing videos. You might have seen some of the shorts that I'm putting out now for the pick a card reads, but soon, once we get to, because I record my dailies in advance, once we get to the point for this week, it's confusing. Once we get to the videos, the daily videos that I'm making this week, there will be shorts coming out as well for them. So it's a lot of work and a lot of editing, but I'm just kind of getting into it. Anyway, all in the pipeline to try and boost this channel a bit and just kind of do it differently. Switch it up, shorts. It's been stressing me out a little bit because I like long form. I like to have a chat. I like to be relaxed about it. I got myself into a groove, so I know exactly what I'm saying each video, And to make the short form, it needs to be a lot shorter, and I feel rushed when I'm doing it, and I don't like that feeling, but I think it's just me getting into the groove of it. I think I'll get used to it and it won't stress me out anymore. So that's what I'm up to. I might do a little bit more work because of that this weekend as well, because it's, on Wednesday I worked a full day. I mean, like I'd finished at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Usually I'm done at about, I'm done recording at about lunchtime. I'll have my lunch and then I'll do the editing, but I was recording and all kinds of things until about 4:30 in the afternoon, so it's considerably more work. But as I said, I'm pretty sure I'll get in my groove. Let me know what you think of those shorts anyway. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on Facebook because I think I want to put it as stories rather than reels. But I don't know how to do that yet. Stories from a business page. Let me just close those curtains because the sun's already started coming up. It's a rainy day today. Is anyone live with me, or am I here by myself? Oh no, people watching. It's okay, just being quiet, huh? If you want a one question reading, then book in for one of those as I'm going. But I'll get cards out for healthy relationships. How can we? What's going on at the moment? What do we need to know? The moon. The moon is about things not being revealed, things being hidden. Like we don't really know what we're doing yet, or it's the unknown, it's the mystery, it's the can't figure it out kind of card. Oh, what are we not figuring out? Seven of Pentacles. What, who to invest in, how much to invest, when to start investing, when to hold back from it. We've been learning so much about not being codependent and having better boundaries and, seeing red flags and holding back from that sometimes it can make us a little bit wary, like a little bit resistant to investing. What I mean by investing is like spending time with someone, or, going on that date or whatever it is, investing in relationships. We can be more on the wary side than perhaps in the past we were more on the, hey, let's just try it anyway, you know, let's just go for this, let's just try it out, and less discerning. Perhaps we're overly discerning now, and just like, I don't know when to invest because I'm imagining that everything's a red flag. It could be like that. I think we're talking about divine feminine here, but we could be talking about divine masculine as well, because there does seem to be a bit of a stalemate going on at the moment with masculine and feminine, like nobody getting their needs met, trying to figure out a new way of relating. I think we've made a mess of society looking toward masculine and feminine, and roles, and what we can get out of a relationship, and what's expected of the masculine, what's expected of the feminine. And then we've got the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. So there will be clarity coming from this. I don't know what to do now. I don't know who to invest in. I don't know what's best for me. Well, I know what's best for me, but it doesn't seem to be around me. So what should I invest in? But there is clarity coming. I mean, 2 cards saying that, King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords to me is like an aha card that can like get us headed, starting something off, headed in a new direction. So that clarity is coming. A bird's eye view. See how he's got a bird there over his eye? It's like a bird's eye view, like seeing the bigger picture, like getting it. I think there's a lot more people talking about all of this now, of the problem that we've got now. I mean, there's a big problem on the world scale of that we are headed fast toward underpopulation, of not having enough people. Once we all start, you know, once the age groups age, we've got very few babies being born, very few young people, and it's causing quite a problem. We've got very few people getting into relationships, and that's not good for our health. It's not good for our emotional health. Not good for our physical health either. But it's kind of good that we're reaching this crescendo of something's gone wrong here. And it's got something to do with, I don't want to say feminism, I want to say the change for women, the change that has happened in, say, the last 100 years for women, when our roles have changed significantly, and what's expected of us has changed significantly, and what to expect of ourselves, right? And so we have very quickly, in the big scheme of things, in the last 100 years, had to have suddenly pulled this masculine side out of ourselves in order to function and be it all. And we've managed it. I don't know at what cost, but we've managed it. A lot of us have managed it, and it's not beneficial. I mean, we've managed it, yes, but at what cost? Are we really stressed out? We don't have relationships now. We can do it all ourselves, but do we want to do it all ourselves? And what about the men? The men have been left with like no role, and that's not right. So now we've got like single parents, women having to do everything, be the man, be the woman, and it's like, no support now. Even family units have been broken up, kind of thing, you know, the generational stuff, I mean. And it's a lot. I know, it's a lot. But what have we done, huh? So what I'm saying is that it is getting messier and messier. Perhaps it's a good thing, because we humans, we tend to only change once we really have to change. And this isn't on an individual level. Now I'm talking about bird's eye view. I'm talking about on the larger scale of things. What have we done? We're a product of that, right? I know myself, I was taught, you know, when I was growing up in the 70s, I was taught that I had to do all of these things. I had to kind of be as good as the boys. And even though we didn't have the same opportunities as the boys, like, I'm like, okay, you're telling me I need to get these jobs and I need to compete with the boys kind of thing at school, I'm talking. But I'm not allowed to do those subjects. They're boys' subjects, and the girls have got to do home economics and that kind of stuff. I was in the transition there where it was like, well, girls can only do like secretarial. We had a class at school that was like secretarial skills. We had home economic, cooking and taking care of a house. And the boys had the other subjects, you see, and so it was still very much in that turning point. It changed after that, but I was like, well, give me a chance then. Let me do those subjects. If I've got to compete with the boys, let me at it, you know, let me in there. I was up for the challenge, but looking back, I'm kind of wished that I hadn't been. It all seems a little bit exhausting, and I think it's really affected relationships as a result. So, taking a bird's eye view, we're going to get an aha about it, and it feels like a collective thing. So what I'm saying is, like, this is not an individual concern of ours. It's a global scale thing too. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, reaping the results of the work that we've put in, right? The Eight of Pentacles was when we start getting something back for all this work that we've put in. And it's hard, you know, one of the hardest things that we do is unlearning. So finding balance, finding what roles we do want to play, and and especially for women, after being trained to do it all and be it all, to accept support and to let someone else take a role, fulfill a role for us, and stop being in control of it all, you know. A lot of us have been like drowning in a way, you know, keeping ourselves afloat, and it's too much for one individual. Why is everyone so quiet today? You're freaking me out. Comment, please. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Anyway, the Star. There's hope. There is hope that we're going to get back for the stuff that we've put in. And I think with women being so, what's the word? So able to do it all, even though it's been to our detriment kind of thing, stressing us out, not good for our health. That has caused the masculine to be like, what's my place now? What am I supposed to do? And I don't know about you guys, but I've found that I've attracted quite a few, I'm not attracted to that kind of guy anymore, but quite a few, like passenger, I'd call them passenger relationships, guys that just kind of, they stayed as children, and they kind of they go for a mother and looking for a partner that will do it all for them too. Like really kind of lazy, not fulfilling a role anymore, thinking that the woman's got it, all I need to do is go along for the ride. I wised up to that, and I stopped kind of being attracted to that kind. Got the Knight of Wands. There's going to be a breakthrough here. There is going to be movement forward. Knight of Wands being that passionate move forward. So have hope for that there's going to be some passionate move forward. I think there's enough people, you know, it's like that 100th monkey rule, right? Where the collective consciousness, it shifts to a certain point, there's unrest, there's enough people going, hang on, this isn't working. This isn't working, we've got to do something different. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's get some more cards out. If anyone wants one of those one question readings, you can book in at any point. There's a link in the live chat there to book in for one of those. You can ask anything. It can be guidance from your higher self. It can be about a specific relationship or about your love, what's coming in love for you, or a decision that you've got to make, career advice, whatever it is that you want. What I do is connecting with your higher selves. Pull cards out and such like. Okay, so what do the guides want to tell us? We've got Llewllyn. It's the Death card. The end of things to new beginnings. Something needs to end before we can have a new beginning. And like I said, it's on a personal scale, this, but also on a global scale too. It's like everyone needs to change at the same time, or we need to figure this all out together, is another way of putting it. The path. We're all on our individual paths. It's the Hermit card. So we've got to walk our own paths. It's like we've all got a piece of this jigsaw. It's like that. I'm telling you what I've learned from this, and what I've learned from these energies that are coming up and from my life, but you might have learned something different, right? And so we've each got our individual piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Perhaps we need to be outspoken about that, and we definitely need to be thinking like, what do I want from a relationship, and how can I allow myself to be supported? How can I allow myself not to delegate, because that suggests that we're the one in charge, but like in a partnership, give up some of the control, some of the needing to be it all, do it all, so that someone else, so I can form a team with somebody. It's about teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Tell us more. Oh. Tell us more. But something big needs to change. Whenever the death card comes out, it's something big that needs to change. Dynamics, partnerships, teamwork, roles, that kind of thing. What we expect of each other, what we expect to do ourselves. So Astara is about, is it temperance? It's temperance. It's temperance. It's about, I need to check this book, because this deck is slightly different than normal tarot. Temperance, yeah. Balance, grace, flowing easily within the world, being at ease in your life. There it is, being at ease in your life. We need to go for what's easier now. And I think this is a community level, not just a partnership level. There's something here about, instead of us all trying to do the same thing on a global level, we've got to get back to who's in our house, who's in our neighborhood, who's in, you know, how can we share the responsibilities and all of that, roles and responsibilities, rather than being like, okay, I'm independent, I want one other person to be independent with. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be bigger thinking here for balance, for more ease. I know, like, I live in a small place, right? A small island, and so the community is pretty tight here. And we do have different people doing different things in this communities, and kind of the sharing element now. We tend to eat together, share things. Not all the time, but that's kind of the Thai way. And it's less of the we're all, you know, in it by ourselves, because it's a community of people from all over the world as well. Thai, Burmese, and then Westerners, various Westerners in this community. There's, you know, there'll be, especially like, so for example, around food, everyone kind of makes their speciality from whatever their country is, and then we've got these Facebook groups, and it's sold there, and people deliver, or we go around to their house. It's a small island. And for example, the laundry, there's laundry people, they've got the washing machines, they do that. Everyone gives their stuff, not me, I've got a washing machine in here, but everyone gives their stuff to them. I've got a washing machine in here because the amount of working out that I do. But there is that shared kind of thing, and I think we need to get back to that, especially for those in cultures. I grew up in the UK and moved to Australia, still very much independent living, you know, in both of those places. We've got the Mother of Earth, which is about harvest. It's about allowing more. It's like the Eight of Pentacles. It's like allowing ourselves to receive from the hard work that we put in. And the Ten of Air, interesting. The Ten of Air is about tarot. It's about using our guidance to help us in the tangible world. So tarot, it's not a predictive thing. It's not saying what's going to happen. Hey, Shelley. You didn't get a notification that I was live. Dang. I had an email sent out this time, the time that I went live. If you're on my mailing list, you will have got that. But YouTube stopped working, has it? What a surprise. YouTube isn't working very well for me lately at all. I know a lot of people are saying they just don't get to see my videos, even if they try and find them, even if they're subscribed to my channel. It's crazy. Anyway, I did have filled in a questionnaire from YouTube yesterday, and put in it my frustrations. Like, they asked, do I feel supported? And like, people can find my stuff. It's like, no, like the severest no to all of that. So hopefully they'll pay attention. Ten of Air, the Tarot. So tarot is about the energies, picking up on the energies right now. It's not a predictive thing. It's about helping us, giving us guidance in the now, based on our energies and what's going on, and the collective energies too. The Ten of Wands. Collective energies, yeah. So whether we like it or not, we're vibrational beings and we do pick up on the collective. We are affected by collective energies, and what everyone's thinking is another word, or what everyone's feeling. We are affected by that. We pick it up. We're like antennas, and we receive signals from the collective, and we transmit signals to the collective as well. And I guess I am super sensitive to that, which is how I can do this. We've got the circle, which feels like it's calling upon other energies, right? Now, there might be people brought together. So we've each got our particular perspective on all of this, what we've experienced and what isn't working for us. We might be called to be in communities with people or talk to other people, whether it's online or around us, perhaps to figure out what we want to change here. It's something that's affecting romantic relationships, yes, but I feel like it's affecting way more than that too. We've got this one, the crazy genius of the skies. Seven of Fire. I like to read this one out. He's the crazy genius of the skies. He brings shocks and surprises. They're exciting and beneficial. When this one, which is Uranus, decides to make his presence known, it's usually by way of sudden big changes, sometimes brought on by radical impulsive behavior, or just as likely brought on by no apparent cause. It's the energy of revolution at the moment. There's a big energy of change at the moment. The events heralded by Uranus serve to break us out of ruts and inspire our inner genius. Rules are broken willy-nilly, and originality and insight ensue. That's what we need. We need a new way now. I think a lot of us have been like thinking like, it's me that's not fitting in. How come I'm not in a relationship? How come I'm not doing this right? But we look at it on a global scale, and it's like nobody's in the cultures that we've got, nobody is managing to do it right. It's not conducive to that. We've made a mess. We've made a mess of society, and it's definitely got something to do with the shift in roles for women, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is saying like, usually in the long run, exciting and beneficial changes. So rules are broken willy-nilly, and originality and insight ensue. Freed from bonds of stagnation, boundaries and ennui. Freedom from those things, stagnation, boundaries and ennui. Independence, innovation and idealism are the new normal. Independence, I think we've had enough of that. Innovation and idealism are the new normal. Or perhaps independence in a way of like, we're not going to do it the way that we've been told to do it. Could be. Seven of Fire promises exciting times. We should be ready to expect the unexpected from life and from ourselves. And in this case, do not expect the surrounding cards to provide much detail about the particulars. That's the point of this experience, not knowing what's coming and having the experience of it. So we are creating this as we're going along, and we might be bringing people to us and around us that have got other pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that are kind of along the same lines as us. And I don't think we're all going to agree on it. And I don't think we have to. I think we're creating a new way of being in community and being in relationships. And I think that's what the whole thing is about. Remember, like months ago, the guide's saying that this twin flame concept, these special couples, and I mean like special as in those that are aware, self-awareness. So a self-aware woman, a self-aware man, not necessarily coming into relationship with each other, but all of us that are aware of ourselves won't necessarily agree on the awarenesses that we've been brought to, but there's some collaborations that can happen that will be important for creating change. And from what I was taught by the guides years ago perhaps, over the last 2 years, was that these couples, these twin flame couples, these couples that get together because they both want a really healthy relationship, something different than has been shown before, that they've been experienced before, those that have done the work on themselves, will come together and be leaders in something, perhaps leaders in relationship, yeah, as in like teaching people how they're doing their relationship, or how they healed themselves to be able to get to the point of getting into a relationship like that. It could be that, but I think it's more far-reaching than that. I think it's probably about different roles and stuff like that. Hey Elizabeth, welcome. First timer, don't forget to click like and subscribe and all of that stuff. Good to see you in here. And if you want a one question reading, then there's that link in the live chat to get one of those if you want. Next we've got the Three of Air, which is about seeing things from a different perspective. The Crone of Water is about kind of holding our emotions back, saving them for later, so not necessarily diving into things. And then the Five, the Five of Air, this doesn't surprise me at all. It's like timelines are changing. We've got significant changes. In other words, what we're deciding now, where we're going now, it changes the future of humanity. It changes the future of our lives, your life. And so what's going on now is really important for us all. It's interesting. It's interesting because it's unknown. It's like we're all in this big social experiment, right? It seemed like a good idea, I guess, the whole feminism thing, but it's left us worn out for sure. So I want to bring it to it's left us worn out and without relationship as well. It's caused us to be more independent, which in one way is kind of a good thing, isn't it? Because then we're stronger, but then, yeah, it's got its negatives, and which will always be the case, right? There's positive and negative to everything, and we have to kind of figure it out. So I want to get into more. Guides, can you tell us more about our individual level stuff at the moment for relationships? With the So Below deck from the Book of Shadows Tarot. On more of an individual level now. So, give us some guidance, please. Because I doubt I'm talking to like anyone that can make a big difference in like policy change or anything like that. And I don't think we're even at that level yet. I think we've got to do it kind of at a grassroots level and figure things out first. Difficult with like sociology, you know. I don't think anyone can see like a really big picture and like, well, if we did this and if we had relationships in this way or communities in this way, it would be more beneficial for us. I feel like your late husband was your twin flame. Could be. Could be. Okay, so how about personal level? Well, we've got the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about having boundaries. It's about saying no to what it is that we don't want. So we've got to get boundaried up. And this isn't just to noticing people's red flags and stuff like that. It's not just about that. It's about being really clear on what we want. Often the Queen of Swords, she has her heart locked in a cage, right? So she's taken her emotions out of it. And this is important. We can't expect change if we keep on saying yes to what it is that we don't want. This is why we've got the Death card. Something needs to change, right? There comes a point where we've got to take a stand and start saying no. You'll see this in your life, right? In a lot of different things. We want change, we want change, we want change. And the change only really happens when we take a step back and we go, right, I'm definitely going to say no to what it is that I don't want now. You know, we can complain. So say if you're working minimum wage, and you can complain about that all you like, but if you keep on taking minimum wage jobs on, then you can complain about it, but it ain't going to change, right? And there'll come a point where it's like, I deserve more, I'm going to say no to those jobs, and I'm going to hold out for the job that I truly deserve. Now, on an energetic level, that's saying a lot to the universe. I deserve more than this, I'm going to say no to that now, and I'm only going to go for what it is that I really want. That moves mountains, because it's us that are manifesting. It's us that make the choices in our lives. It's us that's manifesting that, and a solid decision like that has us only open to what it is that we want, and so we start seeing that more and choosing that more. So the Queen of Swords is about, on an individual level, we've got to start saying no to what it is that we don't want. So for some of you, that might be you've been, open to behavior in partners or potential partners that you just don't want, like players or something like that, and you've just got to start saying no to them. Like actually cutting them out instead of saying yes to them and then hoping that they're going to change their behavior. It could be at a level like that. I know a lot of you aren't doing that now. You've already learned that lesson. So this could be Queen of Swords just about being really clear on what it is that you want and heading toward that. So keeping that vision of what it is that you want, being really clear about what you will accept in your life and what you don't want. Just like the job analogy. Because the guides are telling us that they are out there, there's masculines out there that are figuring these things out too. Just a matter of finding them. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is like a passionate new start. It's also attraction as well. It comes in fast when it comes in, the Knave of Swords. So with that clarity of what we don't want, clarity of what we do want, and focused on what it is that we do want, and the only thing that we'll be open to, it will come in really fast when it comes in. There will be a mutual attraction, is what I mean. That like minded, that like the attraction. I mean, like not positive and negative, because they're not opposite. The two people that are both asking for the same thing, they will be drawn to each other. And it'll be fast when it happens. So when we get in the proximity of them, it'll be a yes from each side. Tell us more. And falling in love. Ace of Chalices. You won't need to ask me. You won't need a reading on it when it happens to you. You'll get it. But while we're headed there to this point of clarity that is the Queen of Swords, that's when we need readings, right? To keep us focused on what it is that we want before this kind of meeting happens of this like-minded. So piecing this together with the rest of the reading, it's saying we're still getting clarity. We're still in this process globally, socially, and individually of figuring out what we truly want, what we want our role to be, even. And so we're not just like, oh, I want, like the usual soulmate list. Oh, I want someone tall and dark and handsome and that is this kind of a character or whatever, It's not just that. It's I want someone who wants to protect me, who, I want someone that wants this particular role in the community and in a relationship, and I want to take this particular role, and I want to be with someone that wants me to be in this particular role and in relationship and in community, and I want them to support me in that, and I'll support them in that, because that's the kind of person I'm looking for. So we've got to add these roles, like roles and responsibilities of relationship, but it's also in community too. So what kind of person do you want to be by your side? What kind of person do you want to support, to be that masculine, providing that role in the community, perhaps for children, perhaps for family, perhaps for you? How do you want someone to help you, support you? What do you want them to have on offer? It could be you want someone to be the provider. It could be you want someone to be the protector. You could want someone who's kind of got leadership qualities, in which case if you want them to be the leader in the community and in the relationship, then you're going to have to learn surrender, right? And how to spot someone who has got those leadership qualities that gives a shit about everyone that they're leading, so that you can trust them to do what's right for you. I think once we get clear on what it is that we want very specifically, we will be attracting that in. And there'll just be no question when it comes in, because you'll know. It'll be exactly right for you. haven't experienced it yet. I'm looking forward to experiencing it. So, the Hermit. She's there. She's having a bath. She seems pretty relaxed. I think staying in our own lane until then, I think getting to know ourselves more, and that's what life is about, isn't it? We know ourselves more and more and what it is that we want, and we come to accept ourselves and stop judging ourselves and trying to be someone else. We go, no, I'm the happiest in this role, doing this kind of thing, with this kind of a lifestyle. And kind of staying in our own lane there. The Six of Swords will be movement from that dark place to the light. So from negative situations, Six of Swords is often like coming out of choppy waters and into smooth, calmer waters. And that reminds me of this that said ease in life, an easier life. I think we've made it hard for ourselves. Things have got harder rather than easier in our pursuit of trying to make things better and shifting roles and all of that, especially for women. But I don't think it's easier for men either. I don't think it's easier for anyone what we've done. So I'm getting from this Six of Swords, out of choppy waters into smooth waters, out of the darkness into the light, out of difficulty, hard, life being hard, to a much easier life. And in order to have that, we do need to surrender some of the independence that we've kind of fought so hard for. And then once we truly get it, we're like, oh, this sucks. I can have it all, but I don't want to. Because it's exhausting being it all. And I'm by myself doing it. And where's the fun in that? Where's the joy in that? So we're taking ourselves from a place of being able to receive to a place of just not being able to receive at all. And we were taught that that's what we were supposed to do. That's what we were supposed to, look for. Anyway, so from hard times to easier times, and that ease means letting other people, letting relationship and letting community share the load. I said it today, didn't I, in the energy update? It takes a village, and not just to take care of children. Take care of everything, and to love us too. It takes a village. So the Seven of Pentacles, back to the start. Okay, what do we invest in? So where do we spend our time then? What do we invest in? We don't know, but we are going to get clarity about it. So what do we invest in? Nine of Swords. It's too confusing. I can't think about it anymore. It's causing me anxiety. I don't know. I don't seem to be able to figure this out by myself. I think that's the whole point. I don't think we can figure it out by ourselves. I think we've got to get together as a collective and figure it out. So even though we've got to stay in our own lane kind of thing and know ourselves and know what it is that we want, there's a collective level of change that needs to go on here. We're talking about revolution. Tracy Chapman sang it. Haven't listened to her for a long time. So it's not just about us then, we're not getting it wrong, it's a whole societal mess up. I wanted to say something else then. But interesting times. Right? Interesting times. Because of this, because we only create change, human beings only create change once things go terribly wrong. Because otherwise we can't be bothered. Or it's not that we can't be bothered, we just avoid change. It's too difficult, right? We'd rather go along with the status quo and just carry on and then try and figure ourselves out within that than to have major disruption. Okay. More cards. So let's get into divine masculine, divine feminine, what's going on with the energies there. If anyone wants one of those mini reads, book one now, because we're coming toward the end of the show. Let me know what you think about the new shorts and minis and all of that. You'll be seeing more and more of those on the channel. And let's pick a card read coming out later today. You'll see it both in shorts, in short form, and in the usual long form as well on the channel later on. And that is a how do they feel about you? Because it's how do they feel about you Friday. Okay. Divine masculine. Where's divine masculine at the moment? The thread, hanging on by a thread. The river, and emotional too. Hanging on by a thread to what? I don't know. The temple. Perhaps praying and connecting in more spiritually. The bridge, but moving from one thing to another. Oh, what happened? Did it stop then? My screen went blank. Anyway. Hanging on by a thread, very emotional, perhaps praying or spiritually connecting, bridge, wanting to make amends or build a bridge between interesting. There's a need for connection here with the divine masculine, so it's feeling a need for connection. I'm saying interesting because I just had a flash of, not yesterday, the day before, after I'd finished work, I went to the send-off. One of our friends died last week in I don't know whether it was a yacht, I was working on a yacht in Europe. I don't know whether it was an accident or if he had a heart attack. He was in his early 40s, I think. Anyway, he used to live here and we all got together and it was really sweet. They had a paddle out on stand-up paddle boards as the sun was going down and to celebrate. It's like the old crew got back together, you know. We all used to hang out together years ago here. And everyone's a bit older, you know, we're all on the island still, but we don't get together like we used to all of the time. But we did, and it was interesting catching up with everyone because that lot, when I'm talking about the guys here, a lot of them now, they've got wives and young babies, but some of them, they're still the players and everything, but they're aging, you know, and it's like, I look at some of them, these aging players, and it's like, I can see in them the, you know, it's like they were always trying to get with me, but I wasn't playing that game. Like, but I can see in them, there is like not a neediness, but there's something missing, right? Come across some communities in the process. The idea is there. People are starting to invest. None are up and running. One in Belize. Food grown all year round. Yeah. I think we're going to try all these different things out, and people are trying these things out, and of how we can. That's why I like this place so much, you know. It's a small island, and we kind of, the community make the decisions here of what happens. And I don't think we're doing it perfectly, but it's certainly the best place that I've lived. And it's because it's just like so small and community run. And I think that's where we're going to find the answers, right? But yeah, the masculine, hanging on by a thread, perhaps of the old life, but emotional about it now and kind of praying for change, building a bridge between where he's at the moment and the womb. That feminine energy, that nurturing energy, that safe energy, like I keep on saying, Some of the masculines now, they're realizing, perhaps with mothers passing away or something like that, that they're missing an important feminine element in their life, and perhaps one that they were taking for granted before, but they're really feeling the absence of that. So from the masculine perspective, it's the absence in their lives of that nurturing feminine, that womb kind of an energy. That's where the masculine's at the moment. The divine masculine I'm talking about, not all men. I'm talking about those that are seeking this change are on the same lines as you, the ones that will be coming toward you. What about the feminine? Where's the feminine at? The king. Where's my man, the masculine, the king, the divine masculine, the leader, the one that will take a stand, the one that will lead, provide, protect, that masculine energy. I think there's been a demonization of the masculine. There's been called out, masculine energy has been called out as being toxic. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't toxic masculine energy, there is, but masculine energy isn't toxic. There is some toxic masculine energy, there's toxic feminine energy too, but neither is inherently toxic. But there's been a complete demonization of everything masculine, and it doesn't help. And I think a lot of the divine feminine now are coming around to, it's like, I want that masculine, I want the positive masculine energy in my life. Personally, for me, I internally demonized masculine energy because of the violence that I'd suffered as a child and young woman from men in my family and other men too. And so I kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater with that. I was fearful, not so much demonizing, but fearful of the masculine energy because I'd linked it with this toxic masculine energy that I'd experienced. Now I don't. Now I'm healed from that. I can see more clearly, and I'm not lumping it all in together. I'm not, tarring them all with the same brush kind of thing. I can pick apart, that's that Queen of Swords energy. I can pick apart what is toxic and what isn't, what's toxic to me and what isn't toxic to me. There's a lot of ultra feminine, toxic feminine, victim feminine mentality that everything should be soft and everything masculine is toxic. There's a lot of that around at the moment, and I think that's kind of probably reaching a tipping point of like, a lot of us will be calling bullshit on that. You don't need to change. I thought you were being over-giving, over-nurturing. Perhaps, I know I was doing that in the past. I was too open before, like naively open and willing to nurture just anyone, even if they couldn't do anything for me, even if they weren't, providing anything to me. So for example, in business, doing everything for free, and it's like thinking that was my role. And in relationships, choosing these men who needed help, that were kind of didn't have anything to offer, and me just all being one-sided. So if you've been doing that, Shirley, then perhaps the shift is saying the masculine is appreciating that now, not taking advantage. Yeah, it could be that, but it's also this womb is appreciating the feminine, that nurturing energy. Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. It's appreciating that nurturing energy and realizing it does have value, and when it's missing from the life, it's not a good thing, And probably through that, then there'll be the next kind of logical step from that is learning what to appreciate in themselves. Well, what do I bring to the table, I think it's a process that women have had to go through as well, is like appreciating this. I know personally I had to. It's like, valuing and appreciating this work that I do. That was a long process to go through. As I said, I felt like I should have been a charity before, but then I realized it's like, well, but who's going to take care of me? I don't have any money to pay my bills and even have a roof over my head and eat food. If I work like that, I can't be a charity because there's nobody taking care of me. So I've got to take care of myself, and I've got to appreciate these feminine things that I'm doing, like doing readings and helping people in this way. It's a feminine kind of a nurturing job, and so I've got to value that right first. And I think the masculine will be doing that too, appreciating the feminine, but then learning to appreciate what it is that they have to offer. You know, not just coming in for that feminine energy. You see, that's really good that they can appreciate the feminine energy, right? But what I've found is, like, because I got myself to the place where it's so I can be it all, single parent, I can be the man and the woman, and I can have my own business, and I can just be it all. So I don't need anyone else. So the men that were coming into my life didn't have anything to offer. It's like, oh, you can take care of me too. I'll be one of your children as well, you know? And so even offering that, offering all the energy, being willing to offer all the energy and be all like that is not a good thing. We don't need to be in relationship when we're like that, right? But if you're not willing to offer it all in relationship, if you're looking for someone that will bring in what you want to bring in, that's where we need to be at. So the king, we're looking at the masculine energy now. I don't know whether they're taking advantage still or not. Some of them will be, but this is talking about divine masculine energies, right? Those that have got this awareness, are appreciating that, and they must be appreciating themselves too, I would guess. Anyway, so Starborn, this is the readiness, right? Readiness for something new to be born, for something new to start. There's a readiness in the divine feminine for positive masculine energy to be in their lives, and perhaps this, I don't want to do it all anymore, energy. There's a need as well for divine feminine to really appreciate that masculine energy. It's been underappreciated and it's been demonized. So the gem, recognizing the gems, recognizing what we've learned from experiencing the opposite, or whatever it is that we don't want to experience. But also the gems out there. There are some gems out there. People, I mean. It's like really appreciating. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be everything that you want, but really appreciating people that are showing those beneficial, especially the masculine. Not those cards. This is also about divine feminine recognizing herself as well, what a gem she is too. Yeah, being discerning. The heart. Connected in with our heart, what our heart desires. We seem to be in this phase, divine feminines, of defining exactly what it is that we want. And it feels like when we get clarity on that, we will be pulling those people toward us. I think we've been in a stage of knowing what we don't want, knowing what we don't want. I don't want this and I don't want that. I don't want these red flags and I don't want that red flag. And I think there's probably a lot of men going through that too. I see it on Tinder. It's actually there in what they write in their blurb. It's like, I don't want this and I don't want that. I don't want a victim and I don't want someone that isn't going to communicate. You know, they're putting all of their baggage right out there in their blurb. What else for divine feminine? There we go. The sword, cutting out the darkness and bringing in the light. So there's a sifting through that we're doing at the moment of like what's good for us, what's not good for us. We need to go through a process of recognizing what we don't want and the red flags and all of that before we can get onto that positive trajectory of what it is that we do want. It's just not, we can't heal ourselves and get up on a positive trajectory until we've really focused on the darkness, on what we went through, on what it is that we don't like. It's like an obvious example of this is if you've had a relationship with a narcissist, there's a period that you go through after that, because it's devastating. I mean, it's really hard to get over. But then there's this period that we go through where we kind of focus on narcissism and really understanding it, and kind of hyper-focused on it to really feel better about what we went through, knowing that we're not alone, and kind of piecing together of how we were susceptible to that and all of that kind of thing. And then there comes a point, hopefully, where we go, okay, I recognize how I chose that now, or how I let it through. Like I wasn't focused on it, I was susceptible to it. I understand that now. I'm no longer susceptible to it anymore. I will be able to recognize it. I know all about it now. I can put it out of my mind now, because I'm impervious to it now. I recognize it. I'm not going to fall in that trap anymore. I'm good. Now I can focus on what it is that I do want. And we go through that process with any kind of darkness that we've been through. There's a period that we do need to focus on it. There's no amount of ignoring it that's going to make it go away. Because whatever it is in our energy that will let that in, or that chose that, it could be choosing it too, but it could just be being unaware of it and letting it in. Yeah, getting clarity on that. Okay, so cutting out the darkness by first focusing on the darkness so that we can then focus on what it is that we do want. That was a strange noise outside. That's what I've got. Thanks everyone for coming along. Don't forget to click like on this video before you click off. Click that subscribe button if you're new. And check out my channel later, because there'll be that pick a card read. I've already recorded it. I did some more work yesterday because the workload is a little bit much at the moment with all those shorts that I'm creating. But yeah, and today, I don't know, I think I'll probably put them out at the weekend. I'm going to create some shorts and longs for each star sign too. I'm working a hell of a lot more trying to get this YouTube channel going now. Hopefully YouTube will help me with this and start showing people. Anyway, let me know what you think of the new shorts and all of that. They'll be all over the place. Instagram, Claire Louise Hay on Instagram. Be Healing on Facebook. Be Healing here on YouTube as well. Let me know what you think about it, or if you've got suggestions of how to make it better. Have a good one, everybody. Any of the one question readings that are booked in from now on will be done in Monday's show. Have a really good weekend, and I'll see you all in 3 days' time on Monday.